Hey, clinical practice students. You guys are just doing such an incredible job right now. I know you are working really, really hard. Everything is ramping up and things are seeming to come at you all at once. And so we felt it was an important time to talk about emotional intelligence and what that means in the classroom. And sometimes that means we need to identify where we currently are and what we can do to improve our emotional intelligence. I've got a short video clip I'd like you to watch first from a show probably a lot of us have seen before.
Look, you may not be as academically inclined as are we. Yes, that's how you say it. But you possess an intelligence I envy, which leads me to my answer. I would choose the ability to read people's minds.
Well, I can't read people's minds. Actually, that's not true. I can read men's minds, but only because it's usually the one thing.
When are we going to get robot eyes?
You're all alike.
Well, what I meant was, I often misinterpret how others are feeling. Like, I can't always tell if someone is only joking or laughing at me. If they're mad at something I've done or just in a bad mood. It's incredibly stressful.
Really? You always seem so confident.
Well, I'm not. And if I could read people's minds, life would be so much simpler.
Well, now I wish I had the ability to make that stuff easier for you.
Well, thank you.
Wow, I just felt this wave of affection for you.
So we may not all be Sheldons, or we struggle that much to understand if somebody's joking or serious or bad day or bad mood or mad at us. But emotional intelligence is a place where we can all improve, and that's what our goal is through our work today. So we're going to start by taking a little bit of a quiz. Don't worry, this is not graded. You're not submitting it. This is for your own reference, and we'll do a little bit of work with it at the end, but I'm going to work you guys through it right now. So we're going to take a look at the self-assessment tool for emotional intelligence. And you are rating yourself based on your own perceptions of yourself. And so this is what we call that Likert scale, where you're rating a 1 as never and a 5 as always. And in between are the rarely, sometimes, usually, are those scores in between, but you are rating yourself based on your own perceptions. So you can go ahead and start numbering, and I'm just going to briefly read through these with you and decide on what score you would give yourself for this. Don't overthink them too much, but do take some thought into your decisions. So number 1, I am aware of the physical reactions, twinges, aches, sudden changes that signal a gut reaction. 1, never. 2, rarely. 3, sometimes. 4, usually. Or 5, always. I readily admit mistakes and apologize. Again, that Likert scale moves from 1, never, to 5, always. Number 3, when I feel angry, I can still stay composed. 1, never, 5, always. Feel free to stop the video at any point in time if I'm moving too fast or you need some more time to think. Number 4, I generally have an accurate idea of how another person perceives me during a particular interaction. Number 5, in assessing a situation, I look at my biases and adjust my assessment accordingly. Number 6, I can keep going on a project despite obstacles. Number 7, I can engage in an interaction with another and pretty well size up that person's mood based on nonverbal signals. Number 8, others feel encouraged after talking to me. Number 9, I consider my emotional temperature before I make important decisions. Number 10, when I feel a strong impulse to do something, I usually pause to reflect and decide whether I really want to act on it. We're about halfway. Number 11, I can deal calmly, sensitively, and proactively with the emotional displays of others. Number 12, I can identify the emotion I am feeling at any given moment. Number 13, I am able to honestly say how I feel without getting others upset. Number 14, I can show empathy and match my feelings with those of another person in an interaction. Number 15, I think about the emotions behind my actions. Number 16, I am respected and liked by others even when they don't agree with me. Number 17, I watch how others react to me to understand which of my own behaviors are effective and which are not. Number 18, I am good at managing my moods and I refrain from bringing negative emotions to work. Number 19, it's easy to understand why other people feel the way they do. And last one, number 20, I can effectively persuade others to adopt my point of view without coercing them. If you need to take more time and pause and rewind and go back, feel free to do that. But for those of you who are ready, we're going to go on to the analysis portion. Now, what do all these scores mean? What you're going to do is you're going to enter your ratings for each of the numbered question in the category where it appears and add the ratings for each category to obtain a total for that specific facet of emotional intelligence. So, self-awareness, you will use numbers 1, 5, 9, 12, and 15. For self-management, you'll look at 3, 6, 10, 13, and 18. For social awareness, you'll have 4, 7, 14, 17, and 19. For relationship management, 2, 8, 11, 16, and 20. Again, feel free to pause the video while you complete this section. And when you're ready, just go ahead and hit play again. So what do these scores tell us about ourselves? Your score on these 4 different components of emotional intelligence can range from a low of 5 up to a high of 25. Any component where you have a score of 18 is signaling an area where you could improve. Emotional intelligence is learnable and it is developmental. So you've got to use feedback from others, including your mentors, your circle of friends, information from your PBDAs, and even locating books and Bible studies that will help you in this area to help you grow and to develop. What we're going to do now is there is a short video on developing emotional intelligence, And then we're going to take a look at our own scores again and analyze where we can improve. And we're going to be writing a letter to ourselves.
Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, interpret, and process emotions in yourself and others. While genetics, upbringing, and environment all play a role, there are steps you can take to develop your emotional intelligence over time. Get to know yourself. Emotionally intelligent people are self-aware. They have a realistic appreciation of their strengths and weaknesses and how they come across to others. Peer feedback is one way of improving your self-awareness and may uncover a few of your emotional blind spots. Learn your triggers. Linked to the notion of self-awareness is knowing how you are likely to respond in particular situations. Think about how you felt the last time you were under pressure. Did these feelings help or hinder you? Recognizing emotions and the source of these emotions can shift your emotional state. Empathize. Seeing things from someone else's perspective will help you understand their values and beliefs. This is important when it comes to motivating and engaging others. Make a conscious effort to get to know your colleagues. Ask open questions and actively listen to what they have to say, rather than simply waiting for your turn to speak. Be on the lookout for body language and other non-verbal signs, as these may tell you more than someone is willing to express out loud. Own your emotions. Part of being emotionally intelligent is about taking responsibility for the way you interact with others. If someone upsets you, pause and reflect on why their actions led you to feel this way, instead of reacting impulsively. Recognize that a conversation is a two-way interaction, and it takes two people to make you angry, sad, or frustrated. Go with your gut. Finally, listen to your body. If your stomach starts doing backflips every time you speak to a senior manager, or your muscles tense up before you go into a meeting, what does this tell you? Counterintuitive as it might seem, emotions can be a valuable source of information when making rational decisions at work. Remember, emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about learning how to recognize, process, and channel them in a way that benefits you and your team. Enhancing your emotional intelligence requires effort, but it can be achieved with sustained practice.
I hope that was helpful for you, seeing ways that those emotions can help you, and particularly in the classroom, because you're not just monitoring your own emotions, you're monitoring 20 to 30 other emotions as well. And so it's really important to have a grip on this and understand yourself so that you can better interact with your students. What you're going to do now is the next two links are available for you on the course page, so you can click on them directly from there. The first is the emotional intelligence document. When you click on that Google link, this is the form it'll take you to. And we're going to be setting some goals for ourselves as we move forward in the semester and as future educators. So we want to take a look at ourselves and those survey results and make some determinations about areas we could improve. And so the first thing I want you to do in this upper left quadrant is ask yourself, what are some things that you would like to stop doing? And so one example might be interrupting people. And it may not be something that you do all the time, but you notice it's a habit, a pattern. So consider those things. The next quadrant over, things I would like to do less. And here's an important one listed already in the example: making myself the last priority. In teaching, it's a matter of balance. And so you need to schedule time for yourselves, because spiritually thinking, if you are continually just pouring out, eventually your vessel is going to be empty. And so you need to be able to pour into yourself and take that time for yourself. The next one we need to look at is things I will start doing. And so what's something you're going to do positively, proactively? In here, they said to seek feedback and then act on it. It's one thing to ask for feedback and then say, great, thank you. It's another thing to seek that feedback and then utilize it to improve yourself and your teaching practice. And then the last one, things I will do more of. And this is a great one they have listed as an example: actively listening. That is so important as teachers, and you know that's part of that whole communication piece in establishing a positive classroom environment, is that active listening portion. After you finish this section, what you're going to do is click on the link below it that says Dear Future Me, and this is the website that you will come to. When you get on this website, you're in essence going to write yourself a letter where you're talking about these areas, the 4 quadrants from the previous sheet of things you want to stop doing, things you want to do less of, things you want to start doing more of. And you're going to write a letter to yourself, and you're going to send these goals to yourself. These are my goals as I'm finishing out the year. Then what I want you to do is you can set the date for delivery. So you'll look over here, and I would suggest, because we're moving to the end of the school year and moving in towards summer and the start of the new school year, I would look at sending this to yourself a year from now. So plug in your home address, your email address. Don't use your TFC one. Use your home email address for this one, because once you graduate, your TFC email becomes inactive after, I think it's a month and a half. And so go ahead and plug in to send this to yourself in a year. So that way in a year, when you get this, it reminds you of the goals you set for yourself, and you can determine whether or not you've accomplished them and continue growing yourself. I am so proud of you and all the hard work that you've done. Remember, let us know how we can help you at any point in time.